Story no one saw coming. A child no one saw coming. A childless couple, Manoah and his wife, carried the silent shame of a barren home. One ordinary day, an angel broke into her loneliness with impossible news. You will conceive and bear a son. No razor will ever touch his head. He will be a Nazarite, set apart for God from the womb, and he will begin to deliver Israel from the Philistines. When the angel ascended in the flames of their sacrifice, Manoah panicked. We're going to die. We've seen God. His wife, calm with sudden faith, replied, if God wanted us dead, he wouldn't have promised us a future. They named the boy Samson, little son, because even in Israel's midnight, God was raising a flare of hope. From childhood, the Spirit of the Lord stirred in him, and Samson grew impossibly strong and impossibly impulsive. His greatest battles were never against Philistines, they were against his own desires. The same fire that let him tear a lion apart with his bare hands also drove him straight toward women he had no business loving. First came the woman from Timnah, a Philistine. His parents begged an Israelite girl. Samson's answer was classic. She's the one I want. Get her for me. On the way to claim her, alone in a vineyard, already flirting with his Nazarite boundaries, a young lion attacked. The spirit rushed on him and he ripped the beast paper. Weeks later, he found bees had made honey inside the carcass. He scooped it out, aired it with his parents, never mentioning it came from a corpse. First crack in the vow. At the 7-day wedding feast, he proposed his famous riddle. Out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet. The stakes? 30 sets of clothes. The Philistines couldn't solve it, so they threatened to burn his new bride alive unless she coaxed the answer from him. She cried on his chest for days, until on the final day he broke. If you hadn't plowed with my heifer, he snarled when they smugly gave the answer. Furious, the spirit came on him again. He stormed to Ashkelon, killed 30 Philistines, stripped their bodies, paid the debt, and abandoned his bride in rage. When he cooled off and returned with a gift, her father shrugged. I thought you hated her. I gave her to your best man. Take the younger sister. She's prettier. That did it. Samson caught 300 foxes, tied torches between their tails 2 by 2, and set them loose in Philistine grain fields. An entire year's harvest, the Philistines retaliated by burning the woman and her father alive. Samson's massacre so brutal, the Bible simply says he attacked them hip and thigh with great slaughter. Terrified by reprisals, 1,000 men of Judah marched out, not to fight with him, but to hand him over bound. Don't you know the Philistines rule us? You're making our lives worse. Samson let them tie him with new ropes, only to snap them like thread when the Philistines cheered. Grabbing the nearest weapon, a fresh donkey's jawbone, he killed 1,000 men in the valley they renamed Jawbone Hill.
Exhausted and dying of thirst, he cried out, "Will I now die after such a victory?" God split the ground and watered the spring, called the spring of the one who called. For the next 20 years, Samson judged Israel, and the Philistines lived in dread. But his weakness followed him like a shadow. One night in God, word spread, they locked the other man. She knew he spoke truth this time. She lulled him to sleep on her knees, called a man, and shaved off came the 7 locks. "Samson, the Philistines are here." He awoke, expecting the familiar asked the boy guiding him, "Put my hands on the pillars that hold this place up." Then, for the first time in his life, he prayed a real prayer of total surrender. "Lord God, remember me. Strengthen me just once more. Let me die with the Philistines." He bowed with all his might. The pillars cracked, the roof caved in, and the temple became a mass grave. He killed more in his death than in all his life. They buried him between Zorah and Eshtal in his father's tomb. The man who began Israel's deliverance finished it with his last breath. The little sun finally burned brightest when he had nothing left but God. Samson's story is the gospel in rough draft. God takes the reckless, the lust-driven, the proud, the failure who played games with his calling, strips him bare, and in that weakness didn't win by being stronger than everyone else. He won the day he admitted he was weaker than everyone else and cried out for mercy. If you're in the prison right now, eyes gouged out, grinding in circles, feeling like God has left the room, hear this. Hair grows back. Prayers still reach heaven from rock bottom. And the God who answered a broken, blind Samson in a pagan temple is the same God listening to you right now. The story. Sometimes it's the only place the real story can finally begin. If this spoke to you, share it with someone who feels disqualified today. Hit like if you needed the reminder that God's favorite material is broken people. And I'll see you in the next story, maybe Solomon's rise and fall, or Isaiah's visions of the end. Blessings on you and your house.
It was the darkest chapter in Israel's history. For 40 long years, the Philistines ruled with an iron fist, literally. They alone knew the secret of forging iron weapons, while Israel was stuck with bronze, plundered and humiliated. But in a forgotten corner of the tribe of Dan, God was quietly writing a comeback story no one saw coming. A childless couple, Manoah and his wife, carried the silent shame of a barren home. One ordinary day, an angel broke into her loneliness with impossible news. "You will conceive and bear." The spirit rushed on him, and he ripped the beast in two like tissue paper. Weeks later, he found bees made honey inside the carcass. He scooped it out, ate it, and shared it with his parents, never mentioning it came from first crack in the vow. Broke. "If you hadn't plowed with my heifer," he snarled when they smugly gave the answer. Furious, the spirit came on him again. He stormed to Ashkelon, killed 30 Philistines, stripped their bodies, paid the debt in rage, off and returned with a gift. Her father shrugged. "I thought you hated her. I gave her to your best man. Take the younger sister. She's prettier." That did it. Samson caught 300 foxes, tied torches between their tails 2 by 2, and and set them loose in Philistine grain fields. An entire year's harvest went up in smoke. The Philistines were a woman and her father alive. Samson's response? A massacre so brutal, the Bible simply says he attacked them hip and thigh with great slaughter. Terrified by reprisals, 3,000 men of Judah marched to Samson, not to fight with him, but to hand him over bound. "Don't you know the Philistines rule us? You're making our lives worse." Samson let them tie him with new ropes, only to snap them like thread when the third. Grabbing the nearest